Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, Asia. Hope everybody's all well and strong and good out there. How are you? I think today is going to be a great day because we're going to see some really beautiful things. I've been waiting for this webinar for ages. I've been looking forward to seeing Angela to do this. So this is going to be fun. Okay, so let me share my presentation to you. Hold on. So today we have Mickey Travel and Zermatt Bergbannen webinar. Okay, and we have the fantastic presenter Angela Zenger-Fienen. She's going to give you welcome video, but also she's made a personalized tour of Zermatt on video for us to see. So I can't wait for you to take a look and really enjoy how Instagrammable Zermatt is, and then you can of course put it in your itineraries to your customers. And of course at any time you can add Q&A. At the very end we will have a quiz. Speaking of the quiz, they've got a very lovely prize for us, which is 2 return tickets to the Matterhorn Glass of Paradise. So after we do the question later on, you can win this, and when you go to Zermatt you can definitely use it. And as I said before, please engage with us. We've got the chat box for you to, type in and say whatever you like to say about our show. By the way, please, everybody, go to your keyboard now. Just have a quick test. Please type in here, hello, hello. Yay, that's getting your fingers going, fingers burning. But of course, if you have any questions about the destination, you can put them in the Q&A box, and at the very end, I will come back to you with the Q&A, okay? So moving forward, groups are traveling now. The show must go on. I know that everybody's been waiting for this moment for many years. Now you can get on a plane, you can come to Switzerland, and don't forget, you must put Zermatt in the center of your itinerary. Okay, and now I'd like to introduce to you the wonderful Angela Zenger-Fienen, and she's been looking forward to seeing you. Here she is.
Hi everyone, it's a huge pleasure being here today with you. I wish you a wonderful afternoon, and I'm so happy that you joined this webinar today. So first of all, I would love to share my screen with you. Here we go. So this is me. Thank you very much, Tim, for the introduction. I'm Angela, and I'm working as a sales manager at the Matterhorn Zermatt cable cars. And as mentioned, it's a huge pleasure for me to be part of this webinar today and to present you my unique hometown, Zermatt Matterhorn. Well, as you know, every journey starts with the arrival, and therefore I would love to start this presentation as well with how to get here. So Zermatt lies in the very southern part of Switzerland, and it's only about 30 kilometers away from the Italian border, and you can easily reach it by train, which is very popular in Switzerland, from all the surrounding airports such as Geneva, Zurich, Basel, but also from Italy, from Milano. There are direct trains operating from each airport to Visp, and there you can switch the train and enter the Glacier Express. So it's part of the excellent journey with the Glacier Express, the last bit through the Mader Valley until you reach the final destination, which is Zermatt. And once you are here, you would definitely recognize that it's a bit different because we don't have any cars. Even though it's car-free, it doesn't mean it is vehicle-free. So once you arrive, you can either grab an electric taxi or you can take the public bus. There is one line, it's the green one, which is very important to you because it's circulating from the train station to all the surrounding valet stations of the cable cars. And it's free of charge if you have a ticket for the mountain railways. Or the 5-star superior hotels, they even offer a service by horse carriage. Since the village itself is pretty small, so from one end to the other, it only measures about 1.2 kilometers. Most of the locals, but also most of our guests, they prefer to walk all these short distances. Talking a bit about the history of Zermatt, so basically we've been able to welcome our first tourist here already in 1765. 56, I'm sorry. And then many years later, at 1839, we had our first hotel that opened up its doors for tourists. But the beginnings of tourism started with the first ascent of the Matterhorn, which was 1865. Until that day, the Matterhorn was always considered to be unclimbable. But then 7 men, they decided to give it another try. They reached the peak, but sometimes this the wind and strategy is very close together, and so on the descent, 4 of the 7 men died, and 3 of them has been Englishmen. And as soon as the Queen Victoria of that time from England heard about this strategy, she banned climbing. And as you know, if something is forbidden, afterwards everyone wants to try it. And this is how tourism started here in Zermatt. After this, we got our first train that is operating to Zermatt, not only in summer season, now it was accessible all year long. And we had, after this, we had our first winter season at the beginning of 1928. And what's special about Zermatt, as already mentioned, is that it's car-free. And 1961, there was an official decision that it's going to stay car-free. So this was something about the past, and now I would love to share some figures with you from the present. So as mentioned, it's not a city, it's a mountain village, and we've got 5,500 inhabitants. Even though it's pretty small, we've got an excellent infrastructure, including 111 hotels, 162 restaurants, and even 47 restaurants up in the mountains. Well, and right now I would love to share a recording with you. I've visited the old town of Zermatt, which is a very magical and historical place, and I would love to share this record right now with you. I hope you will enjoy it. Hello, and a warm welcome from my side again. I'm live here for you right now at the old village of Zermatt. You can see on this bench, you can see a very popular name. That's probably the most famous guy we ever had here in Zermatt. His name is Ulrich in the Bergbannen. Let's have over it. He's been so famous that the Zermatt government, they even dedicated a fountain to him. That's Ulrich. He was born in 1900. And he climbed the Matterhorn many times, over 370 times, and last time at the age of 90. And he died at the age of 104. He was my neighbor, by the way, and he was a very modest guy. He was very friendly, but very modest. For the time he lived, he never had a bicycle, he never had a car, he never had a phone. So if someone wanted to go with him to climb a mountain, he had to wait for him on the church square, and they had to wait until he's coming to ask for an appointment. Well, so that's been Ulrich in the Bergbannen, the most famous Zermatt mountain guide, I would say. Let's go this direction, because in this street, that's a street where you can really see how people many years ago lived here in Zermatt. It's the part of Zermatt which is very traditional, where you find all these traditional old buildings. Just follow me. For example, this house, this stable is a very good example for how it looked like many years ago. So what's special about this is they built the stable, or the stable with local materials. So they used larch wood, They made the stone slabs out of on the roof out of stones that are from this region. So they really used what they had here, and they used these barns to store their food and their straw. What's very special, or what's the speciality of Zermatt, is dried meat. So they used these barns to hang up the meat, let it dry, and afterwards they were able to enjoy it the whole year long. Because many years ago they had very strong winters and they had to prepare food during summer season, so to make sure that they still have enough food for the hard and tough winter. So let's just follow me. This is how it looks like. It's a very magical place. If you're having a look at this barns, just remember how they look like. So they're built out of on these stone slabs. I'm going to ask you a question right after this. Well, I hope you enjoyed the hotel as much as I did, and I will head back to the office. Hope you're ready for the question. Excellent. So I hope you enjoyed the little tour through the old town of Zermatt. And as just mentioned, I've prepared a little question for you. As you saw in the video, there are many very traditional and old barns, and all of them are built on top of stone slabs. My question is now, why? So why are these barns built on these stones? If you got an idea, just write it in the chat box.
So everybody, use your imagination. Why do you think they put great big large stones underneath the houses above the ground? Ooh, some people are answering the question. Let's have a look. Avoiding floods, cooling inside to avoid the landslide. But some people have it closer to avoid from animals, or avoid the animals to go inside. So come on then, Angela, tell us why they put them on the slabs.
So you've been really good in answering the question. So the right answer is it's because of animals, and it's because of a special type of animal. It's to protect their food and their straw from mice. That's the reason they used this technique to build houses. Let's continue. As mentioned, we had our first tourist in winter season 1828. These were the starts where Zermatt was getting more and more popular for winter season, winter sports, especially skiing. But basically it offers a lot of activities during all 4 seasons of the year. And to give you a bit of better idea of what you can explore here in my hometown, I love to share the panoramic map with you, because there are so many different mountain excursions and so much to discover up in the mountains. First of all, I would love to take you right now on an excursion to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, which is the highest cable car station in Europe at almost 4,000 meters above sea level. Let's enter together the Matterhorn Express, which is an 8-seat gondola and takes you all the way up from Zermatt to Trockenersteg. There is one special gondola in the Matterhorn Express. It's called the VIP gondola that can be booked on request for special events. It offers space for 4 people and a bit more privacy thanks to tinted windows. And there's also served a bottle of champagne. But before we take all the way up to Trockenersteg, it's really worth it to hop off at each middle station and to explore the area there. And that's why the first stop would be the hamlet of Furi. So the hamlet of Furi, there are a lot of hiking trails starting, and most of them are really easy hiking trails. For example, you could hike from Furi all the way down to Zermatt in about 1 hour. It's very easy, and it leads you by the Gorner Gorge, where you can see these especially constructed wooden bridges, and then directly over to the hamlet of Blatten, where you can discover these traditional barns as well. And besides this, on Blatten, there is also the Ricola herb garden located. I'm sure you know all Ricola. It's the sweets we have here that are produced in Switzerland. And on the other hand, we also have another hike, which is like a round trip, taking again about 1 hour, where you will cross the suspensions bridge, which is 100 meters long and 100 meters over the Gorner Gorge. And on the other hand, you will reach the glacier garden, where you can see some special stones that are formed many years ago from the glacier, and also some stone caves. Well, now we've explored Furi together, let's hop into the Matterhorn Express again and take our next stop at Schwarzsee. The name Schwarzsee comes from the lake, which is located only about 10 minutes away from the station, so it's a really easy walk. On the way to the lake, you will also find the popular Zermatt sign, which offers you the perfect Matterhorn shot with the mountain of mountains in the background. This is, by the way, the closest place you can get to the Matterhorn by cable car, and it's also the starting point to ascend the Matterhorn. And the lake is really nice because you can see it's got a chapel next to it, which is very well preserved. And if there is no wind, then the mountains you can see in the background, they are reflecting in the surface of the waters. Besides this, you can also have some action up on Schwarzsee, for example, by hiking all the way up to the Hörnli Hut, which is the starting point to ascend the Matterhorn, or just grab a dirt scooter and rush down the mountain down to the village of Zermatt. Well, now we've explored Schwarzsee, let's hop into the Matterhorn Express for one last time, and then we get off again at Trockener Steg. As you can see on the pictures right now, the landscape on Trockener Steg is completely different. It's a more rough landscape, I would say. It's all former glacier landscape. Besides the Matterhorn Glacier Trail, which is an excellent hike, you can also visit the Info Cube on Trockener Steg. The Info Cube gives you a bit more insights in projects that have just been realized or that will be realized in near future, and also about the history of the Theodul Glacier, because many years ago it used to be a very popular trade route between Switzerland and Italy, and it's very exciting what they found with the melting of the glacier. And besides that, we also opened up the doors of our new Matterhorn test center last autumn. Basically, it is there to test ski models in winter. But it's just for a period of 6 weeks a year, and the rest of the year it's empty, and it can be booked for special events, for mice events, for example. I will have another slide at the end of this presentation to show you how this could look like and how this could be the perfect location for your event. But now it's time. Let's enter the Matterhorn Glacier ride. It's this spectacular gondola that was just opened in winter 1819, and it offers you an incredible panoramic view because of the great windows you have on all sides. And 4 of the gondolas are a bit more special. They offer you a great view as well. They are decorated with crystals. And the highlight is that after 3 minutes of the ride, the milky glass floor is clearing up, and then you can see down onto the glacier. This is really a special experience, and that's the reason why I've been for you in the Crystal Ride gondola, to show you how it feels like to fly over the Alps. Please enjoy the recording. Hello again from the Matterhorn Glacier Ride. closer. And besides the crystals you've got a great panoramic view in this gondola. Just have a look in and drive. Have you seen the Matterhorn? Great. So basically there's one highlight about this gondola and it's the glass floor. If you have a look, from here you can see down to the glacier. And you've got spectacular views. So right now I'm on my way up to Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. The way down with the Crystal Right gondola is worthwhile as well. So the next time you're here in Zermatt, just let me know and it would be a great pleasure to welcome you to the Crystal Right gondola. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed this video as well and you've been able to spot the Matterhorn. As you probably, or even some of you probably noticed, the Matterhorn from that angle looks completely different. It's not from its classical side. So basically, if you're traveling from Zermatt all the way up to the peak, you travel once around the Matterhorn and will see it from its different angles. So after our ride with the Crystal Right gondola, we reached the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, which is the highest cable car station in Europe at 3,883 meters above sea level. On top, there are many different things you can discover. For example, we've got a cinema lounge where we show some aerial movies about Zermatt, about the wildlife of Zermatt, but also regarding our cable cars. And then you definitely have to enter the elevator, which takes you 40 meters up to the viewing platform. And from up there, you've got incredible views on the Swiss, the French, and the Italian Alps with 38 4,000 meter peaks and 14 glaciers. And after the viewing platform, it's another must to take the elevator 50 meters below the surface of the glacier and access the Glacier Palace, where you can marvel at handmade ice sculptures on many different topics. So I think we had a quite exciting excursion today, and now it's time for a lunch break. And therefore we have a restaurant on the peak. It's called the Restaurant Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, where we offer some local specialities, but also some international dishes. And on request, we also serve group meals because we've got separate group facilities in this restaurant. And besides that, there is also a peak shop located on the peak where you can find the perfect Matterhorn souvenir for sure. Well, this is what you can already experience on top. Right now, I would love to share a project with you and give you a little glimpse into the future. So there is a very unique project coming up in future. It's called the Matterhorn Alpine Crossing. Please remember that name. So far, it's possible to reach from Zermatt the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, and from Cervinia, you can go all the way up to Testa Gricia. But just that last bit between Testa Gricia and the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise is missing, and that's the cable car that is in construction work right now. This is what the new cable car is going to look like. We've got on one side, we've got the valley station, but also the mountain station and the interior of the station. And as you can see on the picture, there are the same gondolas that will operate as from Trockenesteg to the peak. And two of them will also be the special ones with the glass floor. The distance from one end to the other is only about 1.6 kilometers and takes you only 4 minutes of traveling. Even though it's pretty small and pretty fast, it's quite a challenge to do the construction work on almost 4,000 meters above sea level. Our employees are facing strong winds, heavy snowstorms, heavy snowfalls, and that's very special about this project. On this slide, you can see the different stations on your way for crossing the Alps. Together with that, I would love to let you know that it's also planned to have a luggage transportation in future. So your clients can take their hand luggage with them to enjoy the excursion and drop in the heavy luggage on one side and get it back after they cross the Alps. Having this in mind, it's going to open up completely new travel routes for you in future to combine Italy with Switzerland. For example, starting the excursion in Malpensa, taking a coach all the way up to Cervinia, visiting this beautiful Italian mountain village. Starting there, your journey for the Alpine crossing, take the Alpine crossing as part of the journey, but also as an experience. Hop off the different station, definitely hop off at the peak to access the viewing platform, and then continue the journey after crossing the Alps from Zermatt or from Tash by train or by coach, on this example, to Geneva Airport. This is just an idea of how you could combine this Alpine crossing in future to your itineraries. So right now, as mentioned, it's in construction work. The branding and the keywords is ready. Right now, we are working very hard on the product, the pricing, the offers, and the experiences. I'm so happy because it's the first time I officially announced that we will have a park on Tessa Gricia. It's going to have the name Snow Experience Plato Rosa, where your clients will have this touch the snow experience all year round and some extras. But as soon as I know more, I will definitely share it with you. And the opening so far is planned for spring 2023, if we can proceed with the construction work as planned. To give you a better idea of this project, I've prepared a little video clip for you. I hope you will enjoy it. Well, so this is what the future brings in Zermatt. Together with that project, it's also planned to do the reconstruction work at the Valley Station in Zermatt in order to be able to handle all the guests and also the luggage transportation. We are rebuilding our counters. And together with that, we also replace one of the gondolas operating from Zermatt to the first stop to the hamlet of Furi. As you can see on the picture, and the construction work is already going on and should be finished next year in autumn. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the excursion to the southern side to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. Now let's switch the area and hop over to the Suneka Rothorn area. And together we therefore enter the underground funicular, which takes us in only 4.5 minutes all the way up to Suneka. Suneka, so there's a reason why it's called Suneka. If you translate it to English, it's sunny corner, and it's a very sunny spot. It's probably the most sunniest spot in all over Zermatt, and it offers you incredible views and the Matterhorn from its classical angle. Up on Suneka, we've got, for example, the Lake Leise, where you've got the perfect reflection of the Matterhorn in the lake as well. We offer for groups some sunrise tours, And during the daytime, so during our official operation hours, it's a very popular spot for families because you have some barbecue facilities around the lake and also a children's playground. Besides this, it's very worthwhile to take a little hike to the hamlet of Findel, which is a very traditional hamlet on the one side, and on the other side, it offers great gastronomic offers with, yeah, you've got everything from local specialities up to international dishes, and all this is served on a sunny terrace with best Matterhorn views. And if you're up for a little bit more action, then just grab a bike or grab a kick bike and rush down all the mountain down to the village of Zermatt. But now let's hop into the Combi cable car and go a little bit higher up on Blauherd. So that would be the next stop, and Blauherd is basically the adventure hub of Zermatt. There are many different hiking trails starting up there. Some of them are easy, some of them are a bit more difficult, and some of them are even themed hiking trails on different topics. On the one hand, we've got the Marmot Trail, and on the other hand, we've got the Flower Trail. You will hear about this more later on. It's also, if you want to have some fun and action, you can take one of the mountain carts and enjoy the ride down to Suneka on this 3 wheels vehicle. And the last picture you see on this slide is the Alpine Lounge. I won't tell you that much about the Alpine Lounge because I've been there for you and did another recording on that side. Have a look.
Just taken the underground funicular from Zermatt up to Suneka and the Combi cable car up to Blauherd, and right now I'm on Blauherd for you. So please join me. Let's go and have a look into our page. I'm happy to introduce you to Nicole. She's working here in one of our 3 peak shops, which is located on Blauherd. Here you find basically all you need for your perfect day up in the mountains. We've got some refreshments, some coffee, you've got some snacks, but you also get very cute Matterhorn souvenirs. How about this traditional Zermatt cow, for example? Well, just have a look around. Great, but actually we are here on Blauherd because I want to show you the Alpine Lounge, so please join me. If you start your day in this area, in the northern area of the Matterhorn Paradise, it's really worth it to take a break here in our Alpine Lounge. First of all, it's functional, so you can recharge your smartphones here at the station, or if you follow me, we even got a water station with hot and cold water. And besides this, the lounge offers you some seats to take a break, but also gives you some facts and figures on environment and sustainability here in Zermatt and on the area of Zermatt. Just have a look. I won't explain everything to you right now because you have to come and visit it yourself, but you will find some facts on how ice is formed, on how snow is produced, and how we do snow forming in this area. If you follow up to here, you also can read something on the fauna and flora, so on the flowers and on the animals here in Zermatt. Blauherd is basically, as I mentioned in the presentation just before, it's the adventure hub of Zermatt. So you can start many hikes from here, even some themed hiking trails. and some soft adventures such as magic cards and peak bikes. And on the flower trail, you will definitely learn more on the alpine flowers we have here. Some of them are rare, most of them are protected. From the animals, there are many different animals living in this area. Probably the most popular one in this area is the marmot. We also get one of the teamed hiking trails, which is the Marmot Trail, where you can spot the sweet mountain inhabitants. Let's follow this way. And on this side, you can see we've got a recycling station and some fact and figure of how we do recycling here in Switzerland. And as you can see, I'm not the only one in this Alpine Lounge right now. It's very cozy, so we've got a few people in here having a break and enjoying the Alpine Lounge. But basically, now you've seen some of the advantages or some of the things that are really nice here in this Alpine Lounge. But the best thing up here on Blauherd is definitely the view. You can see the Matterhorn from its classical angle. So it's the perfect Toblerone shape you see from this side. Well, and a bit further up to the station, we've got a heart made out of wood, which offers you the perfect photo shot with the Matterhorn in the background. I'm not able to show it right now because I'm dressed not that well for the conditions we have. It's still winter right now, and I just have my sneakers on. But I'll show you a picture afterwards. Okay, bye.
Okay, so as mentioned during the recording, we still had winter in April, so we've got lots of snow, but now the situation changed and summer is here. And right now I would be able to visit the heart out of wood with my sneakers. And here you've got a picture of it. This is how it looks like with the Matterhorn in the background. Would be your perfect souvenir picture from Zermatt, I'm sure. Well, I've told you a lot about what you can experience on Blauherd, but basically there's one trail that I skipped so far. It's the most popular one, and therefore it deserves its own slide. It's the 5 Lakes Walk, which is starting on Blauherd and taking you in 2.5 hours all the way down to Suneka, passing by 5 beautiful mountain lakes, and each of them is unique, is different. We've got, for example, the Lake Stellisee, which is the most photographed one in Zermatt. And on days where we have no winds, it's with the reflection of the Matterhorn in the waters. And some other lakes, for example, the Lake Grünsee or the Lake Leisee, allows you to swim, to have a bath up in the mountains in very cold water. And we also have the Moosjesee and the Grindjesee. The Grindjesee is my favorite lake because you can see the trees on it, and the Matterhorn is reflecting in that lake as well. So it's really nice, this walk, and I can highly recommend it. But now we enter again another cable car. It's the cable car that takes us in only 3.5 minutes all the way up from Blauherd to Rothorn. And Rothorn is the peak from the northern area. It's also higher than 3,000 meters and offers you breathtaking views of the Matterhorn, some hikes, some easy hiking trails such as the Peak Collection with all the different mountains in the background, or some challenging ones with the Path of Freedom. But it's also an excellent spot to enjoy the sunrise or to start paragliding. Well, I hope you enjoyed the 2 excursions today we had to the southern area, the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, and to the northern area, Suneka Rothorn. Before I come to an end, I would love to share some news from the Matterhorn Paradise with you. I'm sure you all heard about the certificate sustainable that was launched by Switzerland Tourism, and we reached it with the highest possible level, the level 3 leading. There are a lot of things we do regarding sustainability. We've got different certificates. We use EcoSpeed diesel. We have photovoltaic panels on different stations, but also in the restaurant on top. The restaurant Matterhorn Glacier Paradise is the highest restaurant with the Minute GP standards. And it's also important for us to guard our assets, but also to protect our wildlife and forest. As just mentioned earlier, we've got a brand new Matterhorn test center on Trockenersteg, which opened up last autumn. And this is how it could look like for mice events. It would be the perfect location with the Matterhorn in the background. Besides this, we also have seasonal offers. More of them are focused on FITs, but we also have some of them for groups. These are the offers for summer season. We've got, for example, extra rides up to Blauherd to visit or to enjoy the sunrise at the Lake Stellisee. We've got the Fun Venture offers. There's a gourmet pass where you can combine hiking with good food. We've got some dinners or a brunch on the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, and of course the VIP gondola. And there are as well some offers for winter season. Some of them are focused on skiers, such as the first track and maybe also the snowshoe tour. But there is also mountain dinner night and a hot evening on Furi with a sled ride down to the village of Zermatt afterwards. And of course the VIP gondola, which is operating all year round. And this is nice for you. Feel free to scan this QR codes. The upper one is leading you to the trade website, which is pretty new. We launched it last May, so 1 year ago, and it offers you a photo and video database. You can find all our flyers and brochure on it, but also some sample itineraries, for example. And we've got a new app, which is called the Matterhorn Paradise app. You can download it either for with Google Play or in the App Store. And if you have also employees that never been here, or if you want to experience the area of Zermatt, then I can highly recommend the download of this app, because you will be able to explore the area, the Crystal Ride gondola, but also Rothorn with virtual reality, which is pretty cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, for being here. I think now it's time to answer your questions. You can use the chat box and ask whatever you would like to know about Zermatt.
Any questions, audience? I think they were overawed by the beauty and the scenery and the wonderful experiences, right? Looks like it. But no, peace, guys. If you have any questions, please add it in the Q&A box, and we'll definitely answer them in the session. I'm going to now pop along to my little small presentation as well, and then we're going to have a little polling, and then we're going to go on to the quiz. So let me put myself again as the spotlight guy, and let me share my screen one more time. I see a question, but I'll come to him after I finish my spot. So everybody, you may have seen my brochure already. If you haven't received my Alps brochure, I will give you all a copy, an e-version of the brochure as well. And in there on one of the pages, I've also put the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise in there. And I've given some recommended hotels and locations, and I've put some itineraries in there as well. And just a quick idea of an itinerary for Switzerland. This is very, very basic. If you're doing a mono Switzerland, you arrive in Zurich, you can pop along to Lucerne, where everybody likes to do a little bit of a tour and an overnight to recover from the journey. You then go to St. Moritz, which is a very pretty place. Take a Bernina Express ride to Tirano, and then overnight Lugano. You can pop along to the Foxton outlet, because I know everybody in the market likes a bit of shopping. And then you go there from there to Tesch and take the train up to Zermatt. So I'm going to suggest and recommend 2 nights in Zermatt. And in the full day, you can enjoy Matterhorn Paradise, taking either a scenic ride on the Bergbannen or any of the other items that Angela showed us today. From there, we would continue west to Montreux and look at Chateau Chillon perhaps and have lunch. And then we would drive up to Interlaken. We can do some Instagrammable locations in that area. Maybe you are a fan of the crash landing on you story, which I'm not, but there you go. And then continue back to Zurich to head home and flight home. So in my brochure, by the way, I have a much nicer itineraries with lots of descriptions. So I will share that with you all and then you can see. Now I'll pop along quickly to the Q&A since we have some Q&A for Angela. Okay, first question we have, and I'll start from the bottom. Any COVID test needed to enter Switzerland? And the answer is no, there's no more COVID regulations, right, Angela?
That's right. So no more COVID regulations when entering Switzerland, when traveling through Switzerland, no more restrictions once you're enjoying the beauty of Switzerland.
Okay, the next point is VIP gondola only from Zermatt to Trocknersteeg.
Exactly. So 35 minutes in the VIP gondola from Zermatt all the way up to Trocknersteeg. And as you see there, you need to switch the gondola. How about to enjoy the next ride in the Crystal Ride gondola?
Okay. Next question I have is, how safe is the funicular or cable car? Do they have earthquakes in Zermatt? Have you ever thought of any earthquakes in Zermatt?
As long as I live here, so since I've been born, I never experienced an earthquake right here. But the safety of our guests is the most important thing to us. So that's why all the cable cars are twice a year in maintenance work. As mentioned, the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise is operating all year long. So how does this work with maintenance work twice a year? So we've got basically two different cable cars that operate all the way up. So if the main cable car is under maintenance work for a few weeks, then the other cable car is handling the operations.
Yeah, and what I know about my geology lessons, Central Europe is not really very prone to earthquakes because it's very far away from tectonic plates, which happen between Europe and Africa, or between Europe and North America. So Central Europe, normally you don't have significant risk of that. By the way, also a question about the electric taxi. Would you be able to put luggage in the electric taxi?
Yes, they're basically like the normal taxis, you know, they look a bit strange, a bit different, but they have space for the luggage. And some of the hotels, they have an own electric taxi, which is picking up the guests at the train station and putting in the luggage, but also handling the guests and driving them to the hotel.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I mean, usually you have skiers, right? So they tend to have that. Now, for groups, what we've always recommended in the past is perhaps you leave your luggage down in Tesh, and then you go up there and take a handbag if you're doing it just for a day trip or something like that. But if you're staying 2 nights in Zermatt, then of course you can bring your luggage up as well, which is more comfortable. All right, another question popping up here. Do you plan to include the Matterhorn Alpine crossing in the Swiss Rail Pass?
Yeah, so as you know, it's part of the product is in the Swiss ground and the other half of it is on the Italian ground. So we would definitely include it in the Swiss travel pass, but we can only include the part of the route that is in Switzerland. So you will have a reduction on the Swiss side or on half of the journey. It's not possible for the Italian side since it's not part of Switzerland, but we will do our best to give you at least the discount for a bit of the route that is in Switzerland.
Okie dokie. So basically that will be known more like 2023, exactly how much it will be and all that kind of stuff. And probably everybody needs to contact Melanie Brunner from the Swiss Tourism Board Railway. What does she call herself? I've forgotten now, but it's the Swiss Railway lady, Melanie Brunner in Singapore. She knows all about, she'll know all about the Swiss Railway Pass, Swiss Rail Pass.
I think she recently left and she's got a successor. I don't remember his name, but I'm sure we all meet him soon.
All right, well, fine. If you can find out for me, and of course, next time we do a webinar, we'll bring them along.
Excellent.
Okay, so now I'm looking at chat boxes, some questions in there. People are asking
Yep.
to make a presentation for sure. I've got your email addresses in the registration report, so I can send you all the presentation through WeTransfer, or if I make it PDF, I'll try and send it. Okay, people also want to go there. How many hours does hiking trails usually take?
There are many different hiking trails in this area. So for all the interest of the guests, and also depending on the fitness level, we've got easy hiking trails starting from half an hour, which basically for us locals isn't even a hiking trail. It's just a stroll around. And then we've got more difficult ones, a bit longer ones. And then we also got the alpine hikes, which are recommended to do them with a mountain guide. So it's a wide range of hiking trails we have in this area.
Okay, so people are asking me for the itinerary with Mickey price as well. So what I'll do is I'll send you guys the itinerary. You may want to check your local salesperson because, for example, I'm in Indonesia, but there are different people in different markets because some of them quote in dollars, some of them quote in euros, some of them quote in Swiss francs. So I'll give you the itineraries, and then you can actually request from the local Mickey sales office. Also, some other people also asking for the PowerPoint presentation and more for the PowerPoint presentation. And yes, I'll give you everybody a copy of the brochure, the e-brochure, so you can see some nice decorated itineraries inside there as well. More for presentation. Each gondola can accommodate how many persons and weight?
I'm sorry, once again, I've been reading
For the gondola, how many persons can you put inside and how heavy?
It's depending on which gondola. So we've got 8 seats on the gondola from Zermatt to Trockenersteg. If I share my presentation, you will see it in the presentation. The Matterhorn Glacier Ride is a more spacious one with 28 seats per gondola.
Right, okie dokie. Okay, so
there's another question in the chat box. How long is the waiting time between each gondola ride? So it's depending where you go, but basically there's no waiting time at all, since we've got huge capacities, transporting more than 200,000 guests per hour with our cable cars. It's just the way you have to take from one gondola to the other, which is at the maximum 5 minutes.
Okay, and then for the last question, who is the trained general sales agent for Swiss in Singapore? This is a question I don't have the answer at hand to, but maybe what we'll do is find out from STB. I'll check with Baptiste, who is the rail person, and I'll ask for the contact details, and then I'll send that to the audience as well. They can have the contact details of the Swiss rail person in STB Singapore. Okay, right. I think that's the questions done. Now I'll do a quick bit of polling and then I'll do the quiz. So come along, everybody. I'd like to know, will you be sending travelers to Switzerland in 2022? Yes, no, or maybe. So there's a few maybes and a lot of yeses. By the way, Angela, there's 103 people in the room today.
Excellent. It's such a huge pleasure for me having all this great audience that is interacting with us. So it's a huge pleasure for me to have this webinar with all of you guys.
So we'll put on the karaoke song in a minute and start singing together, and that will really entertain. No, I'm joking, I'm really joking. But okay, so 57 people say they would love to come. 58 people would love to come to sending travelers to Switzerland this year. So this is good. So we have a very awake and pro-Switzerland bunch of people. Next question. Will you be sending travelers to Zermatt in 2022? Yes or no? There's quite a few yeses. I can see past 40, past 50, past 60. and there's a few no's. Yeah, 67, 68. So there we go, man. There's a lot of agents here that are planning to send travelers to Zermatt. And finally, my last question. Does this webinar inspire you to promote Zermatt, Bergbannen? So we're seeing a lot of ticks on that one. So far we passed 50, past 60. So yeah, good result. There's a lot of people interested in here in Zermatt, Bergbannen. Okay, right. So for our last thing to do today is the quiz. So maybe Angela, if you could share your screen with the question. Okay. So everybody in the audience, as you know the rules, what we'll do is we'll read out the question. You can put your name, your company name, and the city you're in, followed by the answer. So I'll ask the question, and then I'll say go, and then the first person who can answer in the chat will win. And as we saw at the beginning of the webinar, the tickets, we have 2 tickets for an excursion to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. Okay, everybody ready? So the question is, next slide, please. What is the name of the project that will connect Zermatt and Slovenia by mountain cable car in 2023? Go. Ideally, I'd like to have the full name. I'll give you a bit more time, guys. Right. So the first person I can see who's given the answer. So the full answer is the Matterhorn Alpine Crossing. That's the full answer, right? So let me scroll up to see the first person who said that to everyone. So scrolling down, the first person I can see . Wow, that's a lot, yeah. There is a lot. But the first person to put Matterhorn Alpine Crossing is Lien from Renata Tours. I've got one here, Matterhorn Alpine Crossing. I'm so sorry, you've got that one a little bit wrong. So the first person, actually,
I think it's.
Oh, say again. Sorry, Angela, you see better than me?
I think it's been Stephen Lowe.
Stephen Lowe. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see.
He was just answering right after I answered to Veronica to see her again in Zurich.
Ah, because if they put this, okay. Stephen Lowe, let me see. I actually don't see. Hang on a minute. Very sorry. Got to scroll up. Stephen Lowe. Let me go up there.
Maybe the timing that I receive answers here in Switzerland is a bit different.
Well, yeah, Stephen Lowe, you say. Has he sent this message just to you?
No, it was at 10:02:32.
10:02:32. Interesting. Because maybe he didn't put it to everyone. He must have put it to you personally or to host and panelists. Because for the first, okay, for this one, normally we do for everyone. The first one I see that's gone to everyone is Tassani, EM Tour Bangkok at 10:02 as well.
And how many seconds?
Doesn't give me the seconds. All right, Okay, since you mentioned Stephen Lowe, let's go with Stephen Lowe. Let's give him a chance. Stephen Lowe, where's he from?
It's not written in here. It's Namho Travel.
Namho Travel, Stephen Lowe. Okay, Stephen Lowe, Namho Travel. It's your day. It's your lucky day. All right. Since Angela called you, let's do that. There you go.
So your message was the first one reaching me here in Zermatt. So congratulations on your win.
That makes it fine. All right, Steve Lowe. Steve Lowe, congratulations, my friend. So I will email you, Steve. You can have the voucher and I'll copy Angela on it as well. And thank you very much, everybody, for coming today. And thank you for Angela for being this beautiful presentation. And I look forward to seeing you all someday, somewhere. And at the same time, hopefully we'll see you in Switzerland as well. Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much. It's been a huge pleasure having you here. All the best and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, guys. Okie dokie, Angela. Okay. So that's
What
the
do
fun
you
of
think?
Zoom.
How was it?
Oh, your presentation was fantastic.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. And the people really thank you. They loved it. You can see in the chat box, right? They all think it's really great and exciting and everything.
Excellent. I'm so great. I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm so happy that everything went well and that it was useful for them too.
Yeah,
So
it's
thank
quite
you.
funny. It was very funny in the end because actually, let me stop the recording as well.